Welcome back to the Proximity is Power podcast. Big podcast today. We got Mitch Mathews in the house today. Mitch, thanks for coming on, bro.
Let's go, man. I'm ready. We've been talking about this for a minute. It's time.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
It's time.
Here's a quick bio on Mitch. So he played football at BYU. He played receiver. And in fact, I remember watching Mitch play all the time. Like this tall number 10, looked like a tight end, but more athletic than most receivers, just freaking crushing it. So it was really fun watching you play.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it's really cool. So played football at BYU, and then he even played in the NFL for a little bit. And then he turned into an entrepreneur. He started Anthem Pest Control. And right now his main focus is on this new company called Flow House, which is a cold plunge, sauna, spa vibe, right?
all mixed together, yeah.
All mixed together. So that's like his main focus right now. He's married with, how many kids do you have?
2 girls.
2 girls. How old are they?
4 and 2.
Heck yeah, dude.
It's the best.
I'm about to be a girl dad in May, so.
Is that your first one?
First one.
Crazy. I didn't know you were married, bro.
Yeah, dude. Crazy,
You
huh?
gotta stay more tuned in on your gram, I guess.
Dude, it's crazy. So, dude, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Are you kidding me? I'm excited to be here.
This is gonna be fun.
I'm stoked.
So, dude, where'd you grow up?
Portland, Oregon.
Heck yeah.
Beaverton, if you know Oregon.
Heck yeah. And then growing up, what was the goal? Was it to be in the NFL someday? Like, what was your vibe?
Dude, it actually NFL wasn't on the radar.
Really?
It was just like Division I at that time.
You just wanted to play college football?
Just want to play college football. I wanted to be an Oregon Duck, though.
Really?
I wanted to be an Oregon Duck. Chip Kelly, Coach Bellotti, Dennis Dixon was the quarterback. Joey Harrington way back in the day.
Sick helmets, sick swag.
That's when they started to get really swaggy, like 25 years ago. I was, 25 years ago. And they had like the shoulder pads with like the shiny, sparkly, whatever.
Feathers,
the whole
duck
thing.
Feathers, yeah.
And that's when every kid was wrapped around U of O's finger, And Nike, they're a Nike school. That's where Phil Knight went. So that's where I wanted to go. But they were getting so good. They were doing a lot of recruiting out of Florida and California. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't super fast then. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't want the slow local white dude, mm-hmm. Which I didn't blame them. I would go to their camps, perform really well and do my thing there. But they're pretty much like, look, like we're also recruiting the 5-star from Florida, mm-hmm. So you can come walk on here.
Wow.
It was when my brother got a scholarship my freshman year of high school. He was a junior. Or going into my freshman year, and he got a scholarship to BYU. BYU was never on the radar. My dad grew up in Utah, non-LDS. He didn't care for BYU. But when he got a scholarship to BYU and committed, that's when everything went from Oregon obsessed to BYU obsessed. And then from there, I'm like, oh, I have one goal, play Division I with my brother. That was it. It was never NFL. Play Division I with my brother.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't grow up LDS?
I did.
Oh, you did?
We did, yeah.
Okay, cool. But you never had...
BYU was never on the radar.
Okay, yeah.
I never lived in Utah. My dad grew up here, not LDS. He never talked about BYU. Mom didn't go there. Like it just wasn't talked about. Like it just... Yeah. There was no attachment to BYU ever.
Love that. Because I grew up in Linden, so we grew up going to freaking games on Saturdays, sweating like crazy. About, so much fun.
So fun, dude. BYU's a great energy, man.
It's a crazy energy. Like there's nothing like it. Like just the amount of noise, energy, like everyone's happy.
Mormons going crazy out there, dude. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's good times.
BYU doesn't get like enough like love about like the fan base. Mm-hmm. We have, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would argue that BYU has the biggest or one of the biggest fan bases in the country.
No doubt. Yeah.
Because you have 17 million Mormons.
Yeah.
Besides Logan, Utah, and Salt Lake City, it's all BYU fans.
All BYU.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of for the majority.
Probably 95% of them.
Dude, I'm not joking. We would go play San Jose States, the Fresno States, a few other schools. We had double the amount of fans at their stadium. And that doesn't happen. Like that doesn't happen.
Like you always have home field advantage.
Yeah, and you go to Ole Miss, you go to South Carolina. Like there's Mormons there, and so they're coming from that whole region. They're driving there,
So cool.
The pregame, postgame stuff with Cougar fans is pretty special, man.
That's awesome. So was growing up just like eat, sleep, drink, football?
Football.
All football.
I played baseball.
Okay.
Was better at baseball for sure.
Yeah.
Lefty pitcher, just like it just fit. But I was football obsessed. So I knew that wasn't going to be baseball after. It was just football. That's all we did. My brother and I was football, man.
Growing up, did you know what you wanted to do for a career?
Nope.
No idea.
None.
Just football. Blinders on.
Football.
Love that.
Like we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's football.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. So how was it? Did it come easy to you? Like you're athletic build, like you're tall, you're fast. Like tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't not even close to the best player on my high school team.
Oh, really?
So we won the state championship in 6A. It was a big deal.
I bet that was fun.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like stuff we still talk about to this day.
Yeah.
One of my best friend's bachelor parties is next week. And so like, it'll be like a state championship reunion,
so fun.
dude. And we're in our mid-30s. It's crazy.
Oh, heck yeah.
But I wasn't even close to the best player on my own team. I was 6'5", 185. So I'm the same height now. I'm 6'6", but same height now, but I'm 220. So imagine me like 35 pounds ago, like just frail, skinny. Wasn't even the best player on my team, but I had like that upside, I think is what you're referencing. Like I had the Division I potential just because of the upside of my size, but I was definitely a late bloomer, dude. Definitely a late bloomer. And I went on a mission out of high school and
where'd you go?
Florida.
How was that?
It was the best. It was great.
What part of Florida?
Orlando and Miami.
Awesome.
But I had a chance to finally like fill out my frame. I came back off my mission. I was like 210.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like a good 210, like just growing up, like getting older. I was, 19 or 20 when I came back.
Yeah.
And so you're just a little bit older, more mature. And so I was more filled out.
Did you have an offer to BYU right out of high school? That's sick.
UNLV and BYU. The mistake I made though was, and this is the mistake my brother made too, and we all recognize it, was I think, that was sort of the old school days where like if the team that you want to go play for offers you a scholarship and it's a good fit, you commit on the spot. Like just go there, commit and be all in. Show like your faithfulness, you know what I mean, to the team. So my brother gets a scholarship to BYU. He would have got a scholarship from Oregon, Washington, Oregon State. Like he was that dude in high school. But he gets an offer from BYU, I think as a sophomore, after a sophomore year going into junior year, and he committed on the spot. And that's like kind of back in the day, what you thought you should do is like just show your loyalty. It was dead wrong. You want to play the game. You want to show the college coaches like, no. Like I got Oregon calling me. I got UW calling me. I got Boise State. I got USC.
What do you got? Yeah.
No, because it's a total game. Like when you get to BYU, the last thing you want is to only have a scholarship or only have gotten a scholarship from BYU, because they'll say, oh, well, if we don't play you, then we're still your only option. Dude, like it's a swinging dick like mentality.
That's really interesting.
Like the guys that came to BYU and had 7 other offers, even if they weren't that good, they still played. Because like, if we don't play this guy,
he's going to transfer.
And especially nowadays with transfer portals just being wide open, you can transfer whenever and there's no penalty. Dude, the best thing you can do, like if I had sons right now, I'm getting as many scholarships as possible. We're playing the game. Every college coach knows like my kid has a price tag over his head. You know what I mean? And like, if you don't treat him this way, by the way, it's not babying him.
Right.
Be hard as hell on my son.
Right.
That I'll hopefully have in the future. But it's like, you have to treat him with respect. You can't do we're your only option, so ride the bench for 2 years and we'll see how this goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I never thought about that.
My brother gets a scholarship here. He comes here and he had to like work his way through the ranks in a sense. And it's like, this is the same guy that could have offers from anywhere.
But just because he committed fast.
Just because he committed, it was the opposite. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
crazy. So the game has changed naturally.
Right.
Coaches used to be in charge, like fully of the team. Like, we offer you a scholarship. You can't really transfer unless you want to be penalized a year of eligibility. So you're playing for my team now, and they can run it like a dictatorship. That was like the regime that I played under with Mendenhall. And luckily, like I had a great experience there, like the featured guy, like it was great for me. But for a lot of guys, it was like, I'm kind of stuck here and I want to transfer, but I can't. But nowadays, like the players have a lot more power.
Yeah. College football has changed.
It's crazy, bro.
Especially,
it's like the NFL.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like it was kind of like sparked by Johnny Manziel, like putting his, like he really wanted to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Tim Tebow, Reggie Bush.
Yeah. They wanted to get paid, and they were just sick of like, it was funny watching the Johnny Manziel documentary on Netflix about like his whole thing. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
I haven't seen it, but I already know what's in it.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what I'm saying? Under the table stuff.
He's kind of crazy.
Dude, it was a looking back, I get asked all the time, like, how was it at BYU? Like, did anyone ever try to pay you? Like, whatever. Dude, it was so strict. Like, you couldn't even get a free lunch from like a booster. You couldn't get around at golf.
Wow.
Without being worried that you're going to get a call from compliance being like, hey, I heard you went to dinner with this guy. What happened? Did he pay for you? It was a joke.
That's crazy.
And now like the floodgates are wide open. I'm hearing what guys are getting paid.
That's how it should be though.
Yeah, it's for sure.
Yeah.
There should be some regulations.
Right.
But I definitely missed the window of getting paid, which would have been nice.
Yeah.
But like, look, the other side of the truth is like the lessons I learned were invaluable to be scrappy and be hungry and be poor and like just play ball and I make it all about ball and nothing else. There's lessons that I got there that were fine. And I also had the confidence in myself that when football ended, whether it was a 10-year NFL career or 2-year, whatever, that like financially, like I'll be fine. Like I'll start something and grow something and sell something and be fine financially. So I don't look back and be like, I got screwed.
Yeah.
I'm very anti-screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you were really good too. Like,
I appreciate that.
Dude, I just remember like number 10 again, catch.
That's my dog, dude.
Yeah, like, dude, like seriously. I'm like, who is this guy? And then I remember like hearing from a friend, like, dude, Mitch Mathews sold 1,000 pest accounts.
Yeah,
I'm like, Mitch Mathews, like the BYU Mitch Mathews. And I was like, what? Okay, so what did you study while you were at BYU?
Nothing.
Oh, just
nothing, dude. I didn't study anything.
Generals.
I mean, my degree that I still have to go get is exercise and wellness.
Okay, heck yeah.
2.2
Heck
GPA.
yeah. Before we dive into the after college stuff, dude, growing up, I always wanted to play college football. Like I played running back in Orem, and I had 3 different high school coaches. That's my excuse. Every year we were learning a new offense. We went from the spread to the wing T to back to the spread. Yeah, it was bad, and we didn't have the personnel. And so I feel like, here's the thing. Like I say I wanted to be a college football athlete, but like I really didn't put the work in, and I didn't have like any natural size or anything. But like, I love the Eric Thomas like video of like so many people want to be successful, but until you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, and he's like holding the guy underwater, that's when you'll be successful. It's like, what are you actually doing on a daily basis to like be successful? And like looking back on my high school career, I was never putting in extra reps or extra practices. Like anyway.
Well, let me ask you this then. Like, so you wanted it so bad, but were you not obsessed?
Dude, I think I thought I was, but I think we went from having a really good season my freshman year, like we went to the playoffs and it was good, to like the next year we had a lot of returning starters. We ran the wing T, and we went from like going in the playoffs to our coach leaving. And that next year we went from like probably 8-3 or 4 to 1-9. We won the first game and lost 9 in a row.
Dang, bro.
Dude, it was terrible. Like imagine homecoming weekend, the fireworks going off, and we're down by 40 points at home. Like
what high school?
Timpanogos High School in Orem. It is just the most humiliating thing. And then that year, since we did so bad, a lot of our good players quit and like.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. It was not worth the embarrassment. Like it's not, if you're gonna suck. Like I'm not signing up to go through the grind for this.
Exactly. I feel like we just lost belief for sure. And so I thought I wanted it, but I really didn't, looking back. Like I'd rather hang out with my friends than do anything extra. Does that make sense? But
yeah. So you were obsessed, but the environment was wrong.
Yeah. The proximity wasn't there.
The environment was just wrong, dude. By the way, if people give advice that's just like, man, if you were just obsessed, you could have made it. It's like, Not true.
Yeah.
Like not true. Like
Right.
environment matters. That's why a lot of, like you look at the best players coming out of high school, a lot of them went to the Jesuits, the Mater Days, the private schools, the Corner Canyons here. You know, like they went to those schools because they have amazing environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my obsession, put it into an amazing environment.
Right.
And that environment I didn't create. I can add to it, but like the culture, the history, that's adding back to me.
Yeah.
And so the combination of personal obsession, like the hours you're putting in, you probably would have done it if you were with an entire team that was high level.
Yeah.
The way we worked, like in high school, we worked freaking hard because we're like, dude, we are like top 3 team in the state. We got to work so hard to make sure we win the state championship. And that was the type of conversations, the type of conversations in high school and in college, and even ones I'll mention like in the NFL, like if I played on the 0-16 Cleveland Browns, the conversations were not about winning. And the conversations were about how do we not suck so bad? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On the Kansas City Chiefs, when I got there, it was right before they had won, 2 Super Bowls. The conversations, I'll never forget Andy Reid having a conversation with Andy Reid in his office and him being like, dude, this might be the year that we win it all. I'll never forget. Chills on my arm. He's like, it was this pre-draft. He's telling me this. He's like, look, if we don't draft you and you go undrafted, you got to come here because this is the year that we have a chance to win this whole thing. Like we got the talent. You're going to want to be a part of this. The conversations were like, do we have a chance to win this whole thing? Not like, damn, I hate this thing. This coach sucks. Like there's just a different energy. And so I was on both those teams, right? Like I know it. I've been on really good teams at BYU and ones that were just kind of okay. And so it's like this obsession that I always had in high school, college, and the NFL, but I've been in multiple different environments. It's really easy to be obsessed when you're also in a really good environment where everyone else is obsessed and the conversations are high level.
How was the environment playing at BYU?
4 years, actually 5 different seasons I saw because I played 4, redshirted 1. And best year we finished like 11th or 12th in the country in 2009.
Really
Max
good.
Hall, Dennis Pitta, some really
Harvey
good.
Younga, yeah. You had the squad.
Really good years.
Yeah.
I mean, I redshirted that year. But you're able to see like they just talked about winning all the time. Come back off my mission. There's a couple years that were 8-5. And it's just like almost like you're just like trying not to lose almost. And it's just barely hanging on. No one liked the coaching staff. And so the conversations in the locker room weren't about, let's go win this freaking game. It was, I want to kick this coach's ass. I can't stand this guy. Like the conversations were just different. And like great cultures, great teams, the conversations are either just high performing, we got this, we're so close, let's get there, we're right there. Or you come back in the locker room, you're like, dude, are we going to transfer or what? Like those conversations can happen inside the locker room.
Yeah, toxic.
Or guys coming back from meeting with a coach and like, yeah, man, this coach told me this. What did he tell you in your one-on-one meeting? Man, he lied to me. He told me the same thing you did. Man, fuck that guy. Like I can't, like the conversations are just like, are we winning this whole thing? Are we going to go win the conference championship? Are we going to go win 10 games this year? Or like, man, I can't stand that coach. Like it's a fine line. It can go both ways. Obviously, like the culture you create in the locker room is important as a captain, as a leader. Like you have a big say in all that. But coaching staff matters, environment matters, momentum matters. That all matters, you know? So finding, even if you're a salesperson, culture, environment freaking matters.
Ton. Yeah.
Because if you're taking an obsessed person, put them in a bad environment, yeah, they're still obsessed, but they're probably angry and bitter now because the obsession to begin with was like, I want to go big. I want to win. I want to do this. You go to this crazy bad environment and it turns into bitterness. You're like, I'm obsessed, but this sucks. What am I doing here? And you get negative on yourself, you know? So it's this delicate balance of, I got to keep this obsession going.
Yeah.
Put it with the right environment and I can go places.
I agree 1000% to what you're saying. It's funny. I just did one of these with Sam Taggart on Monday. And I was talking to Sam and I'm like, dude, what advice do you have for someone looking at the door-to-door opportunity? Like what industry, what company? He's like, team. What team are you on? Like team matters more than what you're selling, where you're selling, what company you're selling for.
Dude, yes.
It's funny because I tell my guys, like, it doesn't really matter too much where you sell in the country, but what matters is who's on your team and who's training you. Like, that matters more than anything else. Like, the podcast is literally called Proximity's Power. Like, proximity is either power or poison. Like, and you're right. I've never thought about that, but like, yeah, the team definitely being on that team and not transferring. And this was back when high school, like if you transferred, you'd lose a year of eligibility. But now it's open season. So like all the best guys go to freaking all the best schools or whatever, and whoever has the best swag. But no, I love that. What lessons did you learn at BYU or like playing football at BYU?
Man, that self-confidence, self-love, self-belief is where all your success can be traced back to. You know what I mean? And I can equate it to this mind, this self-belief, this self-confidence. In college, you had players that were extremely confident, high self-belief, and you had other people who were just not. You could see it in their play. You could see the pouting. You could see the negative self-talk. You could see some games were great, some games didn't even show up. The barrier between college and the NFL is not a single person in the NFL lacks self-belief. That's like that's the not ticket, it's the prerequisite. You do not even go to that level unless you have extremely high self-belief.
Wow.
And so in college, I learned self-talk. I learned ego, which has its downfalls for sure, which we can talk about. I learned self-belief, confidence, how everything starts in your mind first. And then it bleeds out into you physically. It bleeds out into your performance. And that's where I learned self-confidence.
Wow.
In high school, I'm like, I got potential. This is all exciting, And then I go to getting benched as a freshman. I'm not even playing at all. And I'm like, you know what? I don't like this feeling. And I remember some lessons my mom taught me growing up, but it was all just the broken record. Self-talk all day. I got this. You're the man. You got this. You got this. You're the best. You're the best. You're the fastest. You're the fastest. You got this.
Yeah.
All day long for 3 years. And it changed how I looked physically. It changed my performance. It changed people's perception of me. They're like, oh, this guy ticks differently. I now trust him to be the leader of this offense.
Wow.
And you just trace it back to, is it his hands? Is it the way he can run? No. Like that all stems originally from that self-belief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in college.
Wow. Such a powerful lesson. Like Tony Robbins says all the time, like the biggest force in someone's life is acting in alignment with their own identity. And like so many times I hear people like talk to themselves or talk about themselves in such a negative light. And it's like, if you don't talk to yourself, if you don't talk to yourself, you're going to listen to yourself. And if you just listen to yourself, it's negative. Like it's like the book, As a Man Thinketh, like your mind's a garden. And if you don't plant flowers, weeds automatically grow, right? Like the mind is literally there to protect you. It's there to, it keeps you in fear. It keeps you in self-limiting beliefs to like not get out of your comfort zone because you might get hurt, right? And so I think it's really cool because like you really do have to have an active approach to creating your identity. And one of the best ways is like you become who you say you are, like and what you think about. And so like having like a daily practice like you did of like talking to yourself in a positive light.
No, it's This is I'm going to interject here. It's not a daily practice. It's an all day practice.
Boom.
It's all day. Like walking to class, in the recovery room, at practice, before practice, laying in bed in the mornings. it's happening all day long, or it should be. That self-talk. I'm the best. I got this. I got this. I got this. You're the man. You got this. You're the one that's going to do this. You're the one that's going to catch that game-winning touchdown. You're the one that does this. You're this guy. You're him. You're this. It's all day long.
Wow, I love that. And it's so true. Like Bodie Gardner at Vivint, he always said, like, a sales rep is who he is, who he tells himself he is between doors. Like, you are what you say you are between doors. That's who you become. And like, if that self-talk is positive, you're going to crush it. If that self-talk's negative, like, oh, this sucks. It's hot. I suck at this job. No one's going to buy from me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do well. So I love that. That's really cool. So
all day long. It's like on the doors. Like if I just did like 7 mantras in the morning and then went out throughout my day and the day just beats you up in between doors, then your mantras meant nothing.
And you're listening to that. Yeah.
It's all day long, dude.
Yeah.
Laying in bed, it's all day long.
So if you were talking to somebody that didn't feel like they had a lot of self-belief, what would you tell them this day?
Talk to yourself all day long.
Talk to yourself all day long.
All day long.
I love that.
Like tell yourself you're the opposite of what you currently think you are. All day long. Like all day long, dude. Like all day long. Now, like, so this is that fine line I was talking about. So the self-talk for a football player is so high ego. You're the man. You're better than them. Like you're him. Like you're that guy. You know what I'm saying? And that works like within the confines of like the rectangle football field. That's how the self-talk should be. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the realities of life though. Like being a dad, like being a husband, being a homie, being a leader in business, your self-talk should change a little bit. You know what I mean? Something more abundant, like be the best giver, be the most abundant person, be the most selfless. Like your self-talk can be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was a problem I had after football was my self-talk. I thought to myself, oh, this self-talk, this super high ego self-talk worked on the football field. Let me just take this over to life. You know what I'm saying? And well, I was just an asshole. Like, but I take it to like sales and running a pest business. And it's the self-talk and the self-belief was the reason why, you know, my rookie year in pest control, I went out and like broke every record in pest control sales. Yeah. It was straight ego, only ego, self-talk, ego, the whole thing. But like the way I treated people, I didn't love. It was to glorify me, like it wasn't football. You know what I'm saying? And so just like words freaking matter, dude. Yeah. So just understand what your self-talk is and the stage of life that you're in, you know? Like if I am playing in the NBA, like your self-talk should be about being the biggest dog and being like the best of all time and being the best on this team because that's how you get paid. That is the barometer there, right? When you're a husband, father, business owner, it should be similar but different. You can be amazing. You can be greatness. You can be incredibly high vibration. You can be incredibly successful. But man, it should be greatness to give away the greatness. It should be earning a certain amount to give a lot of it away. It should be earning to accelerate more giving and more abundance. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I had to sort of shift was like the dials of like ego was fully turned on for 7 years playing football. And it worked. And so I thought, just keep turning ego on after and like you'll be rocking, you know? And it was, you know what, I can turn off ego, keep self-belief on. Yeah. And now I treat people better and I'm happier. You know what I'm saying? And now like the feedback, if people knew me during like my ego era, like that's 7-8 years, was like, oh yeah, Mitch, I know him. Yeah, I know who that is. And there's an energy like behind that. But now it's different. Like the feedback I get now is like, oh yeah, I know Mitch. He's amazing. I love him. He treats people super well. Wow. But I'm the same guy, you know? At least I hope they're saying that. But like the reality is it was a change that I had to make because everything started up here. Ego was here and then ego transferred out. And whatever is in your mind is going to come out. Like this could be the biggest learnings I've had in like the last decade is whatever the state is, like your current state, are you constantly guilty? You're constantly in shame. You're constantly in fear. Or is your state constantly abundant, constantly giving, constantly selfless, constantly confident? Whatever your state is, it must come out. Whatever your state is, it has to come out. And so if you're self-conscious, full of guilt, without you saying those words or saying that's what you are, people will just know it by your movements, by your eye contact, by your speech patterns, by the things you go after in life. They'll say, oh, that person he lacks confidence and he struggles with self-belief. Without you saying it, they'll just know it because that's what has to come out.
You can't hide it. Yeah.
Yeah. If someone is abundant internally, is full of love, is full of confidence, you look at their work, like their life, you'll say, oh, I know who this person is inside because look at their body of work. So whatever you are internally, it must come out. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, man, who am I internally? Man, I kind of am on that, like self-conscious. I kind of am on that. I'm angry, jealous all the time. Like it's like a projector. Like it's going to come out and it's going to be on that screen, which is called your life. You know what I'm saying? And so working on like, who am I internally? It'll be a direct reflection of what shows up in your life, financial, the relationships, everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I was fully ego turned on and I could perform well in any industry that I was in, but I didn't like the side effects of it though, you know, the selfishness. And so I said, okay, how can I keep elements of this ego, which is self-belief, but allow me to do great things, but then give it all away and be a servant leader and start businesses that aren't to put money in my pocket, but to heal people and do good for other people and change the world, you know? And that's the state that I'm working on putting myself in. And the self-talk is to what can be in here so it can shine out.
Yeah. I love that, dude. I feel like so many people struggle with that, like the ego, especially, you know, in door-to-door sales, like I'm the best and it's me. And I was that way for a lot of years. Like I went from selling 150 to 472 to 750. And like, I thought the world revolved around me.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, but
which is so funny. It's so funny. Yeah.
But that mindset, like you're saying, didn't help when I went and led a team. You know, like it's about me. I'm the best. Talk about myself. Like I had.
People don't want to be around that.
No, and it's not. It's just. It sounds so simple, but like so many. I see so many people make the same mistake, and it's just like Tony Robbins talks about like the 6 human needs, like certainty, uncertainty, love and connection, significance, growth, and then contribution. He's like people that operate their lives because like you have all 6 needs, but there's 2 that you need more than the other 6. Like everyone has top 2. And for me, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I know my number 1 and 2 immediately.
Really?
Significance, number 1. And number 2 is growth, which was growth was a healthy one. Significance being number 1. He's like, if significance is in your top 2, it will always cause you pain. Pain in your life, pain in your relationships, pain in your family. Like it will cause you pain if it's all about you. And so I'm like, holy crap. And I saw how me needing significance more than love and connection, more than contribution was hurting me in business, friendships, with my family, with like it was mind blowing for me. And I'm like, and what had to happen for me to feel significance is if other people knew about my accomplishments.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
it was the same way, bro. You know?
Oh, well, and Tony, dude, it's crazy because Tony Robbins says like the world is like, on average, most people are more significance driven today than at any other time in history because of social media.
Yeah.
Because like everyone's trying to one up each other and like get ahead faster and do better than the other person. So I feel like what you're trying to say, like what you're saying is like you need to change your state, you need to change who you are, and I've tried to make a directional shift to contribution, number 1, and love. And dude, immediately it's made a difference, like leading with that
Yeah, bro.
instead of the other. And it's like, it's hard to change, but Tony Robbins says to change, all you have to do is take massive, uncomfortable action in that new area.
Yeah.
He's like, go give a lot, go get out of yourself. Like, and that's when I decided to start the podcast.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
bro.
like it really helped a lot. So,
by the way, if you tell yourself that you're love in abundance and you're selfless and that you contribute on great levels all day long for years and years and years, that is exactly who you become.
you will.
Because that's your state. Your mind tells your state what it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, this is who I am. And that's the projector screen that shows up in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up giving a lot more money. You start the podcast.
Yeah.
Your team grows. You make more money. People, when they meet you, they're like, man, that guy is so full of love. I want to be around him.
Yeah.
It goes brain to heart, which is your state, and that shows up in your life.
Dude, it's so true. Anything you attach to the words I am, you become. If you said it consistently, right? Like you're saying. And dude, it's just crazy. Like even just the vibe in a recruiting meeting. Like if I'm significance number one, I'm going to spend 30 minutes talking about myself.
Yeah, bro.
And that's what I did. You know, where now, dude, leading with contribution, I'm like, dude, tell me about you. Like, where are you from? What are your goals in life? Like,
Yeah.
let's see if this is would benefit you to be here. And like, if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, dude, like, wish you the best.
Yeah.
That was not the vibe before.
Bro.
And dude, people can feel vibes. People can feel intent, right? And like, if you have an intent to serve and give, and just give to give, not give to get anything, like not trade.
So good.
It's a totally different vibe.
So good.
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's really cool. Like most people though, Mitch, like, and like, dude, I got a wake up call like that all hit me at a Tony Robbins event, but most people live their entire lives that way. Like it never change. So like that's really cool that you just kind of like figured out, hey, like this ego self-talk thing has worked for me in sales, for my own sales and football, but it's not serving me anymore and I need to make a directional shift. That's really cool. You've kind of
it was just I was tired of it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It was an actual tiredness.
It's
mental
causing
exhaustion.
pain. Yeah.
It was also a remembrance of who the natural me was. Like the natural me was not like a dickhead. It was not this egotistical jerk. It was that came because certain sports produce certain personalities. Have you ever thought about this before? So if you were to think of the common personality of an MMA fighter, like what would you say the common personality is? Typically, what do you get from them?
Angry, mean, aggression,
shit talking, confident as hell. I'm the best. I'm God. Like
Conor McGregor.
You get that, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that's who he was as a teenager.
Right.
It's
or a child. Yeah.
It's who you have to be and act like to survive that war of a sport. If you think about the personalities of a football player, what do you think of?
Same thing.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Very violent sport. Injuries happen. Head-to-head combat.
Right.
So the sport produces a personality.
Interesting.
You start telling yourself, I'm him. I'm the best. I'm
Right.
greater than him. Because my job is I have someone in front of me as a wide receiver called a cornerback. He wants the football. I want the football. It's mano a mano. One of us is going to win. And it's physical. And I can out-physical you. And I can use my words and talk shit all game and try to intimidate you. Does that make sense? So the sport produces a certain personality because you have to be that personality to have success in that sport. So I started to understand like, wait a minute, is this really who I am? Or did I adapt to the circumstances called football and say, I need to start telling myself that I'm him all day long, that I'm the best, that I recover faster than everybody, that I'm the best of all time, that I'm this person, that I catch this many touchdowns, that I'm better than everybody. Because the sport produced the need to start saying those things to myself so I could perform better on the field. Does that make sense?
For
So
sure.
after football was sort of over, I was like, wait a minute. Like the sport produced that version of Mitch. If I keep that version of Mitch in other things in life, it's like this dick of a football player that's like trying to live amongst like business people and just everyday people. And they're not going to like that because I'm not in that world anymore where I have to act like that and talk shit and like intimidate.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't play that game anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I realized like certain things produce certain personalities that you have to be good at that sport.
I've never thought of that.
It's
really
a realization that I had, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have to shed some of those things. So I laid it out in my mind. I'm like, okay, I've got to shed that ego, and I want to shed that ego because it doesn't serve me anymore. Rarely, maybe if I'm playing in the alumni game at BYU, I can turn that ego back on.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's a competition, I'm playing golf with my best friend. Maybe I can turn some ego up and talk some shit. Whatever, maybe. But it's so rare that you need ego anymore that I just don't need it. Where before it was all I ever did.
Yeah.
Sun up to sundown was ego.
Doesn't serve
And
you
it
anymore.
worked.
Yeah.
It worked then. Now it doesn't. And so it's like, who do I need to be now to accomplish these new goals?
Wow.
And I know what I want now in life. And to imagine running Flow House, a business that's there so that people can heal mentally and physically. Imagine being an asshole leader, trying to get people to a space that's abundance and flow state. It doesn't work.
Right.
And so the self-talk now is to be the person I need to be to have success in this new field that I'm in.
Yeah.
Cannot be the old guy or else the business doesn't work.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally. This has been really cool. So you finish up at BYU and then you immediately go out and sell pest control.
No, I went 2 years in the NFL.
Oh,
So Kansas City,
heck yeah.
Cleveland, and then Miami in 2017.
So sick.
Yeah.
And then how do you get into the pest control space?
It was the first thing I said yes to. So I knew after 2017, I hurt my ankle on the Miami Dolphins, and I'm like, I think this thing's over. You know, I'll still vet it out, but I think this thing is over. Maybe I can kind of play investor or like help a business or whatever. But once I hurt my ankle and I was out, I think it was 16 weeks before I was healthy again. It was to the end of the season.
Wow.
And so I'm like, you know, maybe this thing is over. And it's not like I made any money in college because of NIL. And in the NFL, I didn't make any money either. I mean, I made some, right? More money than I ever made, but I made some only.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I actually need a job now. Do I go get into coaching? What do I want to do? And this pest control thing came to me. Pretty much was, hey, look, we understand if football happens again for you, go back and do that. But if not, we think you'd be really good at this sales, marketing, recruiting thing, use your name and go into this. I said, sure, let's try it, right? But I have the, door open if football happens again and whatever. Anyways, the first year of sales, I wasn't involved at the pest control business Anthem, still playing ball. But the second year, I was like, well, I want the money. I have the drive to be great still. Football's done. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go to the highest level and do it. And ego was still, dude, that thing was cranked. So the knob was about to break. You know what I mean? And came in the industry and I'm like, man, what are all the records? Like, what are they? Like, I have this training called college and NFL football. Like, I have the mindset for this. Like, what are the records? What's the best of all time? I don't care if I'm a rookie or not. I'm doing this thing. And that's when I went out and sold 1,000 accounts my first year. By the way, it's not sexy or cool. It's nothing. It's just what I felt like I needed to do to actually have a strong voice in the industry, which is I own this company now. I want to have a strong voice, which is I know how to perform at a high level in this industry. So now we can recruit based off that, And that was it. Sold for a couple of years, and now it's just been recruiting, running the business, and we sold the majority of it last year, which is fantastic. And have been able to train and work with a lot of amazing people. This sales and pest control business was the very thing that opened doors to like meeting great people, having the capital to invest and start what I'm doing now. But also we have the business now today and it works well. You know, we sort of hit the momentum phase. So we, you know, things are working without you having to like force it just to barely work. Like it's a well-oiled machine, you know?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, the success principle works for anything. Like it worked for college football, it will work for sales, right? And so like when I was recruiting at Aptive, like my regional would always say, dude, bring me the farmers and bring me the wrestlers. Like bring me the people that have like played sports, because like those people can apply those same principles of working hard, you know, being on a team, like all those things to this job and crush it. So what lessons did you learn running a pest control company?
Ooh, man.
Other than ego wouldn't serve
worse. First of all, you learn how to run a business.
you.
You learn how to lead differently. You know, football was very much like the leadership of like whoever's the most alpha male, loudest, like biggest dog on the field can, you know, lead the team, you know? You try to do that in sales and with younger people and employees. Like you just can't lead the same way. So I really felt like I became more dynamic as a leader. First couple of years of the business, my business partners would be like, dude, you're just intense, you know, like you're trying to lead this thing like it's a football team. And it's like, it's not, you know, it's just not.
Wow. Yeah.
And it like, not that I was like yelling at dude, it was none of that. Like it just was like intense and like expectations were just crazy high.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. So I the learnings was becoming more dynamic as a leader, just having a range. It wasn't just like fully cranked up intensity. It was just a range of learning how to listen, learning how to lead better, learning how to be dynamic as a human being, learning how to connect with people deeper. Life's not about intimidating and seeing who's better than.
Yeah.
It was seeing how you can get the most out of people.
I love that. So tell us about Flow House. Where did that inspiration come from? And tell us about that.
Yeah, bro.
First of all, what is it?
So Flow House is we launched in 30 days from today, by the way.
Dude, that's exciting.
30 days from today.
Go.
Flow House is a guided, multi-sensory sauna cold bath experience designed to raise our vibrations. So typically, in short, you say, what's a sauna cold bath space? And I think a lot of people will go to like, oh, it's like a Nordic spa or like it's like a plunge or whatever, which is fine. Those are great spaces. But ours is a flow state business. It's a studio, it's a space to get people into flow state, to feel like they never felt before. Peak confidence, abundance, and flow. We use sauna, we use cold bath, we use music, aromatherapy, because those things together, if you can orchestrate them together, produce the certain chemicals in your brain to get to flow state. Like the Flow House brand could look different. It could be vibroacoustic beds. It could be a sound therapy place. It could be nutrition. It could be a lot of things because a lot of things get you in a flow state. We just love the experiential side of saunas, cold, doing those things together with your friends and family. So it's a flow state business, first and foremost, to raise your vibration. But we use our 50-person sauna.
50?
50.
That's
unbelievable.
Massive.
It's unbelievable.
How big is that?
It's like 3 of this room.
Wow.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
It's insane. But it's all guided classes.
Wow.
So there'll be at peak capacity, we'll call it 8 classes a day. 3 of those 8 will be a guided class, but all of those sessions will be themed. So we'll have a meditation class inside the sauna with a guide. We'll have a men's only, women's only, mindfulness, breathwork class, like all these different types of classes inside the sauna to get you to that vibration raising experience. So imagine this, dude. So you and your lady, all your business partners, come in with your spouses, and there's 20 of you people that you love in there, and you're guided the whole time by this guide who's trained in hot and cold therapy, in aromatherapy, in music. And you have this class that's guided with music and this guide's words in a certain meditation. And then you go to the cold bath and back, and the music changes. The stove is hit with more aromatherapy. It's just this radically cool peak high that leaves you feeling like you've never felt before. So that's the business. It's just getting you to feel that way.
Wow.
And through all those things, it's super healing. And so we suffer from chronic stress, anxiety, depression, isolation now more than ever. And going back to, you asked, like, how did this all start? And I'll sort of start in the middle, then I'll bounce back even farther. But
yeah, you're good.
Jesse Itzler is one of the co-founders in this. And
that's sick. He's your
it'll be
business
rad.
partner.
He's coming out for the launch party. You
I'm
Come.
coming.
I know you're coming.
That's so sick.
You're already coming.
I love Jesse.
He's insane. So he, someone asked him at the dinner table, this is a couple years ago, they said, like, how do you know what type of business to start?
Yeah.
He said, find something that bugs you, because you'll never get tired of that. And the same person's like, well, what bugs you? He goes, how people treat bees bothers me. How people, like our current water situation bothers me. So he's doing something about both those things. I'm never going to get tired of it, he says, because what bothers you today will probably bother you forever. And going back to that like young version of me, I care deeply about how people feel. Always have. That all went away when I turned on ego and I couldn't even recognize how people felt because I didn't care. But I've always cared about how people felt. Like, are people happy? Is my family happy? Are my friends happy? Is everyone doing good? Like, that's such an energy of mine that I bring with me is, how's everybody doing? I want to make sure everyone feels good. And the fact that now more than ever, we deal with chronic stress, anxiety, depression, isolation, dude, that bothers me. It really bothers me. And it brought me back to what Jesse said, find what bothers you and then go solve it, because you'll never get tired of solving that. I said, boom, that's it. Those things bother me. I can go solve them. And then I added to what he said was, what if I could solve problems full-time through business, but use things that I love to solve the problems with? I love cold bath. I love sauna. I love partying with my friends in a sauna. So you're telling me I got to go solve problems through business using things I love? That's what Flow House is.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
So cool.
And so 5 years ago, me, Jesse, and 10 friends went to Poland and we stayed at Wim Hof's house.
I remember.
Poland
Yeah, dude. I remember
years ago.
With Lewis Howes too, right? Yeah.
It was at Wim's house. Yeah. It was an amazing experience. First time I did breath work. First time I did anything on the holistic side of anything. You know, I'd done cold baths before. I'd done
football,
sauna, but it was for football, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Lewis Howes was there too, huh?
Yeah, Lewis. He's the one that put it all together.
Dude, that's crazy.
Lewis is amazing, bro.
Proximity's power.
He's a proximity guy. He's the one that brought everyone together.
Wow.
Mike Posner was there. And so every day was breath work, cold baths, lessons from Wim, sauna sessions. Every night was Mike Posner serenading us with his guitar.
Dude, I just met him at a Tony Robbins event. Is he a Utah guy?
No.
Okay.
Cali.
He's dope. Yeah.
Really cool guy.
Okay. So that was your first exposure to it.
To that holistic side of things. So I fell in love with the sauna, cold bath. I fell in love with the sound therapy. I fell in love with just that whole vibe. As still running the pest business went on, I just was doing those things on my own, like sound baths and breath and, you know, just living that way. And then it became very apparent that I wanted to go head on with the problems that we face in the world today, which is isolation, chronic stress, anxiety, depression. I wanted to do something about that. And that bothered me. So let's go solve it. And let's solve it with things that we love. And so I hit up Jesse. I said, remember that conversation, Jesse, we had in Poland where I said, why did it take 10 Americans to come all the way to Poland just to feel this good? I said, let's bring this back to our cities, like where our people are at. And so the reason why we're starting first here in Utah County is these are my people. This is where my people are at. What if we could do some great work here and then go to Salt Lake, then go to Portland, Oregon, then go to just from there, go everywhere. Wow. Just to make a real impact, you know? And that really runs deep. Like it really runs deep to me. And you have to put your business hat on to make sure the business works or else you can't have the impact that you want to have, you know? But the spirit behind this whole thing is there. Like I want to do good through business.
Wow, dude. That's so sick that you kind of put it all together. And honestly, for me, dude, breath work is new for me. And like, I'm in Jimmy Rex's walk group, and we did some breath work, and I'm like, I mean, I've done like Tony Robbins priming and like some meditation stuff, but like 10, 20, 30 minute, 45-minute breath work sessions. You feel
rad, dude.
You feel great. They work.
You're high as a kite, dude.
Dude, it's from breathing. Like
high as a kite, bro.
like it was crazy, and I got like a lot of like great ideas, and I'm like, holy crap, like breathwork's no joke. Like it's legit.
It's next level.
But yeah, like so the sauna and cold plunge. So I've been doing sauna cold plunge for probably the last like 3 years. What really got me into that was I was at a Tony Robbins event, and Wim Hof spoke, and then this sauna lady, I don't remember her name, spoke, and they were back to back. And the sauna lady's like, if you sit in a sauna that's over 170 degrees for 20 minutes, 4 to 7 times a week, your chance of having a stroke, heart attack, heart disease go down by like 60%.
Isn't that crazy?
All cause of death go down by 40%. Like there's a reason why so many people in Europe consistently use saunas, and traditional saunas mostly. Infrared's great too, but that like was mind blowing to me. Like what other like exercise and sauna like has that type of impact on your health?
Isn't that wild?
Wild, like makes you live longer. And then the cold plunge thing was like, if you sit in a cold plunge for at least, a minute between 40 degrees and like, I think it was like 50, like it's like a free natural antidepressant and a free Adderall, but without the side effects.
Yeah, bro. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. And from one sauna session, your depression levels go down for 2 weeks.
It's like cocaine, man.
It's like
it's an upper. It's a stimulant.
It's crazy. Like you look at all the health benefits of sauna, cold plunge, and now I'm learning about breath work. There's like very few things that have the level of impact that it has with no side effects.
Yeah. Here's what's crazy though.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to Flow House briefly. If you go into doing a sauna for only those reasons, that's exactly what you'll get. If you go into a sauna to create an experience, music, aromatherapy, a modality like a meditation during all this, you get those benefits too, like the mindfulness side, but you also get the exact physical benefits as well. Cardiovascular, the muscle relaxing, you get all those too, right? The anti-aging, the mood, like you get all that.
Reduce inflammation.
But if you go into it with the other side of things too, you get both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is special, right? And by the way, like the cold bath for recovery, cold bath and sauna for just physical, that's cool too. It's amazing, right?
Amazing.
But sauna creates, it's a literal box, so it creates a literal room. And when you're in a room, typically something's happening. It's an office, or it's a bedroom, or it's a podcast studio. The box creates what's happening inside. And so the sauna is that box. But if you're just sitting in there waiting and it's just for the detox, it's just for that.
Watching the minutes,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you'll get all those benefits. But what if you can create a theme to it? Like we have a theme today. It's proximity is power is the theme. So we all came in knowing we're going to talk about these things.
Yeah.
And so when you book a Flow House session, you know if it's an upper or a downer or a stress relieving class or a mindfulness class or a social class, like going in. And so it creates this environment. It creates an experience.
I love that.
And then you match the intention, you match the aromas to stimulate the social class or the stress relieving class. You match the lighting
and
change the colors. The people who show up are on the same vibe as you. And so it creates experience. So it literally is a room first. And if you look through the window, you say, well, what's happening in there? Well, it depends on what class you sign up for, the intention, you know what I mean? Change the aroma, the lighting, the music, and then it creates this radical experience.
Dude, I'm so excited for this.
It's going to be insane.
Where are you opening it at?
Pleasant Grove.
Let's go.
Wherever that is.
Yeah.
So we launch our first 100 memberships today.
Really?
Today.
Let's go.
So the first 50 memberships get to come to an after party at Flow House for the first session ever with Jesse Itzler.
I'm coming.
You're coming.
Oh, that's so
I'll send you the link after this.
Dude, that's so sick.
So we're going to do a Flow House party with Jesse.
Uh-huh.
The first 50 people who buy a membership.
Yeah. Dude, I love that.
So.
Because Jesse lives in Atlanta, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Flying out for it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited for you and for having this in Utah. Like, what a blessing. And so many people will benefit from it. So it's a 50-person sauna, and then you have cold tubs too.
One big one.
One big one.
10 person.
Wow, massive.
And you can, I mean, for a social class, you can puzzle piece like 20 in there.
Yeah.
But it's 10 all lined up facing the same way. And there's a sound bath stage. So while people are cold bathing, you've done a sound bath before?
Mm-mm.
Dude, okay. You've done a million sound baths.
Yeah.
Listening to music is a sound bath.
Okay.
You're consumed by the vibration and the bass and that's a sound bath.
Mm-hmm.
But a Flow House, a sound bath is like the crystal bowls.
Oh yeah.
The rain stick, the chimes. It's just music is the sound bath.
Frequencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a sound bath while you're sitting in the cold water to help feel more comfortable. And they're very healing. Like a sound bath is like the massage for your organs and your cells. It's literal vibration coming off these bowls and these instruments that hit your body. Scientifically, it's doing the same work sauna cold is doing. It's doing the same thing for you, but you get to be in a sound bath with some comforting music. It's just peak, dude. It's just peak vibes. It's just insane. So we have this little stage on top of the cold bath that like our guide can play over the water. And it's just rad, dude. It's just fun.
It's cool even watching you talk about it. Like you light up and like so passionate about it. And it's gonna serve so many people. Like there's gonna be a huge impact. And I know, yeah, Utah needs more healing. Like the world needs more healing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's cool that you're providing a product and an experience that people will benefit in so many ways with. So
I'm fired up. I hope it does the good that we want to.
Love it. So you just want to scale that as big as you can.
Yeah. Sincerely. Yeah.
Love
I do.
That.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I have a duty at Anthem to make sure I'm a great provider there in my role. But also as Flow House is blossoming, like I have a duty there too, you know, and I have a duty while I'm on earth, you know, and I have a duty to do great things using business. And so that's the lessons that I can give to my kids, you know, that you can start a business to make yourself money and create like this dream life, you know. But dude, I've gotten a big check before, and it's like, oh, that was great. Who else got one? Oh, just like a few of us. I didn't feel as good, you know. Felt great, felt amazing. It's not like it didn't, but it's just like there's more there.
Yeah.
And what if we could all win at Flow House? What if everyone that came, if you're just a visitor, you win. If you win big, you're a different person when you leave. It being a flow state business, like it's not even about the studio at Flow House. Like that's where you get into flow state. Like the stories that we want to tell is how are you treating your spouse better because of who you became at the space? How are you leading better? How are you vibrationally completely different? So when you walk out of the space for the next 24 hours, you're just buzzing. You just have that high and you want to treat people better. You want to give more. So it's the Flow House effect, we call it. That's really what we're going after is, are the humans that pass through Flow House, are they better and doing better in the world, you know? And so I have a duty to do that too. And if I can teach my kids that lesson to, hey, you have a chance to just make a bunch of decisions. You can start a business to make you money. And by the way, you can do a lot of good with that too. And Anthem's been so good at teaching people how to earn income. Like the money that some of these guys will make this year is unbelievable. It'll change their life forever. And that is so fun to me. And then at Flow House, it's, man, what if every single person that ever came through received a massive benefit too? And that's just exciting.
I love that, dude. You're going to kill it.
I'm ready, bro.
I'm going to cheer for you and I'm going to be part of it. I'm going to bring my friends to it.
I know you will.
Everyone go. Flow House might even be open by the time this podcast releases. So go Go sign up, go book a session and go experience it. That's freaking awesome. What was I going to say? Dude, I love what you said. I heard a podcast the other day that you can start your business from a passion or a pain or just doing what you were already doing for work, but make it a business. And like what I love about, this business idea that you have, it's solving a pain and you're passionate about it. So like you're just going to blow it up. Shifting gears a little bit and we'll wrap up. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. Do you believe that proximity is power? I mean, we've talked about it a lot already. And if so, how important?
Obviously, bro. Yeah.
How important has it been to you in your life?
Oh my gosh, dude. By the way, we've talked about this the entire time. We just didn't know we were talking about proximity. You know what I mean? Like proximity to a sound bath. Like proximity to the type of music you listen to.
To Jesse,
Yeah, proximity to Jesse. Proximity to Tony Robbins. Like you learn that because you were in the sound of his voice. You know what I'm saying? I learned what I learned by being in the sound of Jesse's voice. Like proximity when I was in the Cleveland Browns, like the negativity was just there, And the proximity when I'm around Andy Reid is just different. Like this is all proximity, And I think when people go, they think of proximity, they instantly think of people. It's like, oh, how do I get rid of my like best friend who's kind of a cancer? It's like, that's one of the like 100 ways we could talk about proximity. Like in diet, like proximity to healthy food. Like how close are you to like the right music you listen to? Like I've completely changed my music choices. Completely. Because just taking a sound bath all day in hip hop music was so good for me when I was a football player, detrimental to what I do now.
As a husband even.
Yeah. Like it's an ego producing vibration.
Yeah.
So you crank that thing up when you're playing football because that's going to serve you. Turn that thing down, way down. You know what I'm saying? So it's really what it is to me, proximity is, in other words, what are you taking a bath in? You know what I'm saying? Are you taking a bath in Tony Robbins? Are you taking a bath in high performance teams? Are you taking a bath in low performing negative teams? Are you taking a bath in a lot of negative friends? Are you taking a bath in gossipy conversations? Or are you taking a bath in high level mentorship conversations? Are you taking a bath in bad music or good music? Are you taking a bath in bad habits or good habits? Like to me, everything's just, what are you bathing in? You know what I mean?
I love that.
And that is just the exact path which you'll take and the level which you'll grow.
Dude, I agree 100%. Like every interaction with any human or any song is nudging you whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
It's so slight that you don't even realize it, but like it really does. And like the songs you listen to, the lyrics you hear really are affecting you subconsciously, right? And so I love what you said about proximity, even with like food. Like, everyone says like you want to get healthier, like just go throw away all the bad food you have and only have good food around. You're going to eat good food, like if you do that. So who were some of the big mentors along the way for you and why?
Really early on, and still, my brother, he's just so consistent. He's the reason I fell in love with football because I wanted to be like him. My mom is probably the biggest ever for me because she taught me self-talk. And self-talk goes to your heart, and your heart projects out everything in your life.
Really cool.
And my mom was so impactful, dude. She passed away when I was in the NFL. But that is the gift that she left me, was the self-talk,
Really cool.
And this story might be so niche and small and not needed, but I feel like I have to say it because it's like, I'll never forget, I was 12 years old. I'm at Hare Field in Hillsboro, Oregon. I'm at the concession stand line. And I'm wearing this blue Swisher pant jumpsuit with orange trim. And my mom took the time to tell everybody in line how amazing I was. This is my son, Mitch. He's so amazing. He's so handsome. He's going to go play football in the NFL. He's the best. He's so good. He scored 4 touchdowns a day. It's one of those moments where I didn't know at the time it was so impactful, but I remember where I was, what I was wearing, what she was wearing, how many people were in line. She's the reason why I've been able to believe in self-talk and self-belief. Because a parent's external words are a child's internal words. So what she was saying about me became me. That was the bath I took. And my mom's word, the vibration of my mom's word was what I was bathing in as a kid. So I've never struggled with self-belief because of her. And even having the guts to do what I'm doing now and to go play in the NFL and do the sales thing and do Flow House, like it's the guts that she gave me, you know?
Yeah, she believed in you more than you did at the time. And you just internalized her belief as your own.
Yep. And so I think now that I'm a parent, my wife and I are really conscious of this. But if there are any parents listening, like, I don't say this because I'm a perfect parent. I say this because I had an experience from my mom that changed me, dude. Like, yes, there are times you need to reprimand your kids. There's times you need to like be stern, and that happens. But like, do you take the time daily just to gas up your kids for no reason? If you don't, do it. Tell them how beautiful they are. Tell them how amazing they are. Tell them they can go big. Tell them they can change the world. And then do it in front of other people. My mom did this all the time, where I was in the room and a guest would come over to the house and she would brag about me to the friend. She wasn't talking to me. I'm playing with my toys. I'm dribbling a basketball in the kitchen. But she's talking to her friends about me and saying, he's so amazing. He's such a good kid. He's going to do such great things in this world. He's amazing, man. He's going to go play football in the NFL. He's so handsome. He like just all the things, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't listening, but I was so deeply listening because I took a bath in that. You know what I'm saying? And it happened my whole childhood. And so like parents, take the time to do that. And by the way, we're all parents, whether we have kids or not. If we're leaders, we're parenting people, take the time to do that for your sales reps, your employees, your people, to just gas them up all the time. Like, it is not a sign of strength to just walk around and just like point out like all the 10 things your company's doing wrong. Like you're some fucking hero. You know what I mean? Like the hero is the person that's going to make a 20-year effect, 100-year effect. My mom made a 100-year effect on me.
Wow.
By the way she spoke to me when I was standing in line at the concession stand.
So cool.
And now I can pass it on to hundreds of other people because of that moment. And that moment happened all the time, but that was like a one I remember because it was so powerful. And so we have the chance to do that as parents and as leaders of whatever people we're leading.
And it creates a ripple effect, like you're saying.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like I remember my dad, I was so lucky. Same thing. Like, Gage, there's greatness in you. You can do anything you set your mind to. Like, you dream big, you know, like
straight up,
you're the son of a king. Like, you can do anything you want in this life.
Bro. I noticed that about you, bro. I've noticed that you're on just some different plane, a different path. Like, you're in the industry, but you're greater than, you know what I'm saying? I've always noticed that about you, and we never really even hung out before. I'm always just like, this guy's on I'm serious. This guy's on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that belief you have in yourself. And I've noticed that from afar.
Dude,
so crazy vibrations are, bro.
Dude, likewise, bro. That's why we had to do this today.
Here we are.
Last couple of questions. What are some of your favorite habits?
Sauna, cold bath.
Let's go. Yeah.
I have a sauna in my house in the backyard.
So sick.
It's 5 times a week for sure. You know what I mean? Cold therapy and then self-talk.
You feel so good after, like both of
You feel insane, dude.
Yeah, you really do.
Dude, quick nugget. We throw these sauna parties in my house all the time. You should come. It's a guided meditation to music in our sauna with cold bath. Dude, half the time we're like crying in the sauna. I feel like, no, I'm not joking. We're like, we're crying. The vibes are so high. Like, that's a good habit if I can bathe in that, you know?
It's a great place to network and get proximity too. Like so many people, I used to try to take one successful person to lunch a week, but like, just to get into proximity and like
it's a little awkward.
Learn. Yeah. Well, and it's a big commitment. Like to go to lunch with somebody, it's like you have to drive there, it's an hour, and then you have to drive wherever, and it's in the middle of the day.
And
it serves me.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, dude, the cold plunge, like just inviting someone to come cold plunge sauna session. It's in the morning, not a big commitment. like you feel good, like both people benefit,
both win.
good vibes.
Yeah, bro.
So I love that. What's something you've done that we should all do?
Drop the obsession with discipline. I think discipline's kind of a joke. Like, or at least the focus on discipline's a joke. Can I tell you a story?
Yeah, go for it.
So my senior year of college, I remember telling Bronco Mendenhall, my head coach, like I told him this. I'm like, I want to be known as the hardest worker that you've ever coached before. I said, who's number one? He said, Brian Urlacher is the hardest working player I've ever had. I said, I'm going to be in that conversation. And so I was unbeatable in the work ethic category.
Wow.
Same thing on the Miami Dolphins. Coach Paloka, the strength coach, he meets me in the middle of the field. He's like, dude, you need to go home. You're the hardest worker on this team. Everyone knows it, And I prided myself in that. Going back to college, you asked my professors who would email Coach Mendenhall and say, hey, there's a student athlete. His name is Mitch. He's extremely lazy, doesn't come to class. He's asking me for a D. Like, what the heck is up with this guy? And that was happening simultaneously to being the hardest worker on the team. I'm the laziest person 100 yards away on upper campus. How is that possible? And the lesson I learned from that is, like, I didn't need discipline in my obsession realm because it's just what I wanted to do willingly. On upper campus, in the classroom, I couldn't stand it. It was getting in the way of football. It was getting in the way of the dream. It was just, not that school is for everybody, but for me it was.
Right. And
I was extremely lazy. And so I would hear all the time, gotta be disciplined, gotta go to class. And it was just like, oh gosh, okay, fine. And I'm fighting it every day. But how can I be so obsessed simultaneously to being so lazy? It's because one, I was obsessed, one, I was not. And so I had to be disciplined to go to class. I had to wake myself up and just slug my way to class. That's when I even needed discipline. This one, I didn't need discipline at all. You know what I'm saying? And so people obsess with discipline because they think that's what gets them to this side. For me, with the football side, I wasn't disciplined at all. I didn't have to try. I was so in love with the game and so in love with what I was doing. You never had to mention the word discipline to me. I was already disciplined. And I think so many people are in a realm where they need discipline because they're not obsessed with their team. They're not obsessed with their line of work. They're not obsessed with their vision. They're not obsessed to a wild level.
Wow.
And so they need discipline.
That's a really interesting.
Instead, dude, get the hell away from that environment where you need discipline. If you're in an environment where every day is just discipline-based, you're in the wrong environment. Don't care what anyone tells me. And now, it doesn't mean that sometimes someone might give an example, but Mitch, what about this situation? Sure, I'm sure there's some examples, but for the most part, get the hell away from environments where you need discipline. It's a joke. Get to places where no one needs to mention discipline. You're already that guy. Go where obsession is and go where environment is.
What would you tell someone who has a business and they love it and they're passionate, but they have 3 kids at home and they're in diapers, they're crying, and they feel like all their attention and obsessions on business, and when they come home, they don't feel the same way on that side of their life?
Oh my gosh. That's a tough one, too. You're giving me that's a tough example.
You can't leave your family.
No, yeah. Well, no, by the way, I'm not asking you to be anyone to be a workaholic.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not what it is. It's first of all, you should be obsessed with the home life. You should be obsessed with all that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not even the best to give an example of this, but I just think it's brackets. It's putting family on the literal calendar and say, hey, I'm going to toss my phone in the bedroom at this time and just be here for 2 hours, Because a lot of times that's all that kids need. That's all that the wife needs is hey, I want just 2 hours of interrupted time, just you and I, and that's literally plenty, But that depends on relationships. But I learned this a while ago, that it's not the amount of time you spend with your kids. It's the amount of fully present time you spend. And I think this was President Nelson of the church that was like, I'm an extremely busy guy. Maybe his wife said this, but it's, he's working till 7 p.m., but when he comes home, he's super present, and that effect worked. And there were studies done, not about him, but studies done about this where someone who is only with their kids for 1 hour a day, but is fully present, has so much more impact over those kids than someone who works from home and is not fully present and has like 7 hours of like stress-filled, unpresent time. The person who actually worked longer hours, but was present just for that one, have so much more greater of an effect than the person who is just kind of there all the time and bragging about how much they're around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if it's crazy obsession with business, and I look at Jeremy Andrus, the founder of Traeger, from sun up until 6:30 p.m., he's probably nowhere to be found because he's so obsessed with Traeger.
Yeah.
But you ask his kids, he's an unbelievable dad because when he's home, those 2 hours he gives his kids are just lights out as a father. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And so know your balance. If you're going after something big, some big goal in business and some big personal achievement, it might mean less time at home,
right?
But perfect that time at home and you have a better effect than someone who hates their job and comes home at 5.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I just think about like my first summer. Like, let's say a month in, I'm like, I'm not passionate about pest control. I'm not obsessed with this. What do you think about that? Like, discipline did carry me that summer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like Casey Boss says, like, don't follow your passion, follow opportunity, and then get rich and follow your passion. Like, what?
That's it. I would call that just a path. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean so let me clarify one thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it took discipline to get you through that summer. I just think you knew it was worth it. So you did it.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, waking up at 6 a.m. for 4 years sucked, like at BYU for the early morning workouts. Those workouts were grueling and they sucked. But I did it willingly because I knew what was on the other side of that.
You were obsessed with the goal. Yeah.
I knew what was on the other side of that. You're like, you know what? I'm willing to go grind this summer. I'm willing to push through this. Yeah, this sucks. There was plenty of times in college and the NFL where it straight up sucked.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad we're clarifying this. But you knew on the other side of that was exactly what you wanted to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you're in a position where, by the way, for 30 years in a career, every day sucks and you're relying on, but discipline, and you're just doing it because the word discipline is the thing, I think you could have had a better 30 years where you were obsessed and happy along the way. And there was moments of like, if I put in this work now, it's going to get me somewhere. So I think for you it was, I know if I put in the work now on the other side of this is the dream life. So I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you were beyond obsessed. You loved it. You stayed in, you grinded, you did it.
Yeah.
So hopefully those stories actually align more than they're different.
Yeah.
You were willing to put in the work because you knew it was on the other side. I was willing to put in the grueling hours, the injuries, the broken bones. I was willing to do all of it because I knew it was in line with what I wanted to do.
What are 3 books that have impacted you the most and why?
Power versus Force. Number 1.
Power versus
Force.
Okay.
Number 1. It is a measurable vibrational difference when you close that book. You're like, I'm just different forever now. Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
Love that one. Yeah.
I'm from Beaverton, Oregon. So that one like hits home so hard. And then number 3 is Start Something That Matters by Blake Mycoskie. He's the founder of Tom's Shoes. Does what you're doing actually matter in the world?
What's the last one again?
Start Something That Matters by Blake Mycoskie.
Heck yeah. What's one quote that you live by or has impacted you the most?
Let me get back to you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, you're good.
Some of these guys, man, are just quote engines. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Casey Mendez is a quote engine and just popping them out.
I know it'll
come to me on my drive home. I'm like, damn, that was it.
Yeah,
Let's insert that.
No, you've dropped a lot of bars. What are 3 things that you've done in the past year that has improved your life the most?
Past year, I've improved my self-talk for sure. That is forever changing, I think. I have focused on others' greatness more than my own, which still looks like you being great, but just to give it away even more than I used to. And I've improved a lot of little elements in my life that match like the internal, from fashion to lighting in my house to books I read, just like a lot of little things that completely embody me. I've changed. I guess it's an understanding that the little things matter, you know? And from fashion to like aromatherapy at the house to different lights, just to put me and our family in the right setting to go accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Completely aligned.
So an obsession with the little things, I guess.
Yeah. If you had the world's attention for 2 minutes, what would you want them to know?
That they are amazing and that they have insane potential and that they're beautiful human beings and that they don't need to work on their abundance. They don't need to work on their greatness. They already are those things. There's just things in the way, like low self-belief and guilt and shame, that are blocking those things. So life's always not about, I need to become abundant, I need to become great. No, you already are. You already are amazing. There's probably just some things happening, some limiting self-beliefs, some guilt about the past, some shame, some negative self-talk, that if removed, they'd be able to experience that greatness. Every person on this planet is fucking amazing, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like amazing. So much potential, so beautiful, can do so much good in this world. And I wish everyone believed that. And everyone does believe that because that's who they are. There's just things currently blocking them that are just standing in the way of that. So I'd say start with self-belief. Start with that. Actually, I change that. Start with your self-talk. That becomes your self-belief in your state. And your state is what shows up. And so if it's shedding guilt, if it's shedding the negativity, the negative self-talk, whatever it is, that is the things you have to remove to experience that greatness and abundance. It's not growing greatness and abundance, you know? But if that was 2 minutes.
That was amazing, yeah.
It's that people are amazing and great already.
I love that. Where can people find you, Mitch?
Social or our Flow House?
Instagram. Yeah. One or the
in a
other.
sauna somewhere.
What's your Instagram handle?
Mitch Mathews 10.
Heck yeah.
And Mathews has one T in it.
And then just Flow House. FLOW.
HAUS.
Heck yeah. So sick. Go book a session.
Go book a sesh. Hit me up on social. We'll tear it up.
Awesome.
If this comes out before, Jesse will be here on the 26th. We're doing an outdoor party up the canyon.
26th of March.
Yep. 7 mobile saunas, food trucks, DJ, Flow House party. It's going to be insane. You're coming.
I'm coming.
You're coming.
So
You're bringing
sick.
your wife. You're coming.
Yeah.
And if you want, if any of you or anybody wants to be a founding member, then you first 50 get an after party with Jesse Isler for the first Flow House session ever.
Heck yeah, dude.
Insane.
So stoked.
So stoked, dude. I'm so pumped.
Dude, this has been a ton of fun. Thanks again for coming on. You're such a stud, and I've looked up to you, you know, from afar for a while, like ever since you were playing at BYU, and I'm just like happy to meet you and so excited for what you're doing and like where you're headed, dude. Like,
yeah,
and you're just getting started. So
I appreciate that.
Here
man.
we go.
You too, bro.
Dude, thanks.
You're the man, dog.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, peace.